name is Sabria, and I'm an intern at Masakane Center.
Hi, my name is Pallavi, and I'm also an intern at Masakane Center.
Hi, my name is Alicia, and I'm also an intern at Masakane Center.
Masakane Center is an organization based in Newark, New Jersey, where we focus on sex-positive, pleasure-focused sex education. And today we'll be talking about desirability politics. So before that, let's do a little story time of something that happened to me in college. So I was at a house party with a couple of my friends, and we were just chilling, hanging out. Then some guy came up to me and started talking to me. There was a bit of flirting here and there, you know. I could tell he was interested in me. He called me cute and all that. But then it kind of suddenly became a little weird, where he was like, "So do you speak any other languages?" And I was like, "Nope, only English, maybe a little Bengali." And he was like, "What is that? You don't speak Spanish?" And I was like, "No." He thought I was a Latinx person. And after he realized that I was South Asian, he suddenly wasn't interested in me. And I was like, wow, okay, glad I dodged that red flag.
My God, that's terrible. That guy was totally asexualizing you as a South Asian person, but then also over-sexualizing Latinx people at the same time.
Right? It was so wild.
And I totally feel like I've had very similar experiences. I feel like because I'm South Asian and fat, I'm not attractive to a lot of people. And I also feel like South Asians are asexualized by other South Asians. A lot of Indian men I've met prefer to date other white women. It's like really hard to experience those things and still feel confident in myself.
So true. It can really be so discouraging. It sucks that our self-esteem depends on how other people see us. It really shouldn't be that way, you know?
Yeah, it's really upsetting to hear this. The asexualization and over-sexualization of certain groups of individuals is a big problem. And as a Black woman, I've also experienced similar things throughout my life, and these experiences are extremely common. So what are these stories that we're talking about here have to do with what we're talking about today?
So all of this falls under the concept of desirability politics. But what is desirability politics?
So desirability politics looks at how our ideas of attractiveness affects our daily life.
So what does that look like? How does it play a role?
So on dating apps, I've seen many people like have a bio that says like no Black people and no fat people as a preference. And that's ridiculous because that isn't really a preference, it's a bias. It's literally flat out racism and anti-fatness.
Right, this impacts us at a societal level too, such as an employer being biased when hiring for a job or not even being able to find clothes for bigger body types in stores.
Yeah, so where does desirability politics even come from?
So, desirability politics comes from the favoring of white people and European standards, and this discriminates against Black people, disabled people, fat people, and also has a belief that being straight is the norm. That pressure causes people to feel as if they have to look or act a certain way in order to be accepted.
Yes, and this favoritism for white and European features can cause discrimination against many people, especially when dating.
So true. I feel like as we grow up, we are like kind of subconsciously learning from society about a lot of biases such as like anti-Blackness, anti-fatness, ableism, etc. And it ingrains into our psyche. So our desires don't really grow in a vacuum. Our biases also affect them, affect our desires, and it can turn into dating preferences.
Hi, Becky. About Friday night.
Are you excited?
Look, I haven't been clear with you. I really like being your friend, but I don't think we should date.
Is it because I'm too intimidating?
Yeah.
I get it. See you later.
I didn't ask him what I wanted to ask him. I didn't ask if the reason he didn't want to be my boyfriend was because I have Downs. I didn't ask him because I know the answer is yes. Some days it sucks being me. This is one of those days. Focus, Becky. Don't let them see you cry.
So what is the difference between a preference and a bias?
I think for me, preferences in general are not necessarily harmful and can look like someone preferring to date others who share interests or hobbies or specific personality traits. Like if you want to be with someone who reads a lot of books or watches horror movies.
Yeah, I feel like those preferences can be harmless, but sometimes even preferences that are like, I enjoy someone who goes on hikes. There could be a layer of anti-fatness in there, since that could imply that they prefer someone who's thin, and imply that, fat people don't exercise. But fat people could go on hikes too, but that isn't even a consideration to them since fat is seen as unhealthy, which isn't true.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to someone's body type, race, disability status, that's when biases come into play. People shouldn't be quick to judge someone based on their appearance because their personality is definitely very different from what someone may believe. Biases can contribute to the justifications of why certain people are unattractive and therefore undesirable. And these biases are inherently harmful because they're most often based on stereotypes.
Yeah, and these stereotypes can actually prevent someone from getting to know another person that they might actually click with and have a genuine connection with.
Yeah, like there are even times when a person can be interested in another person's personality, but be completely turned off when meeting them in person because of what they look like. Like I've heard stories on dating apps where both people were totally into each other and were so excited to meet each other. But when they do meet, one person didn't even realize the other one was fat, and suddenly they are no longer interested in continuing the date. Kind of similar to my story with the Latinx, when that guy thought I was Latinx, but actually I was South Asian. So it could be like really upsetting for the fat person, and also like, oh, I didn't realize that was who you are, so suddenly I don't like you. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so sad, and it's super upsetting to hear. And I'm assuming this is because of anti-fatness.
Yeah, like for that story, there are many anti-fat stereotypes where fat people are seen as like lazy or asexual. Those biases shape the person's opinion of the other before getting to know them even further, simply based on their appearance.
Yeah. And biases don't just come up when dating. It can also come out in committed relationships, whether it be romantic partners or friends. And that really sucks to deal with too.
Yeah, like, right? It's so awful. I think this usually manifests in microaggressions, which can be really subtle at times. And this might be really hard to catch right away too.
And what are microaggressions?
Yeah, so microaggressions are everyday behaviors or comments that are based on some sort of stereotype or stigma around a certain group of people. And sometimes microaggressions are seen as something that's less important or maybe too minor for someone to get upset over, but these are just as harmful or could be even more harmful than an obvious display of bias. And in a lot of cases, the person committing the microaggression might not even realize what they said was or did is a microaggression.
I definitely had to deal with that, which is the worst. Do either of you have any experiences with microaggressions?
Yeah, I did. In college, I was in a MoGuy space where I had a friend who was white tell me that I didn't look queer enough or I didn't seem bisexual enough. And this comment implied a number of things. They thought like because I'm brown or South Asian, I didn't look like I could be part of the community, which is really ridiculous. I think my fatness also kind of asexualized me in a way too, where it's like, oh, you're not really part of the community. And after hearing this comment, at first I was like just too surprised to even respond. But eventually I spoke with them and asked like, what are queer people supposed to look like? White? And after I said that, they didn't have an answer. So it's safe to say I'm not friends with this person anymore.
Wow, I'm so glad that you stood up for yourself in that situation because what they said was absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, you should not have to deal with something like that.
Oh my God, he's here. Come on. Rick Armstrong?
Yeah. Oh, you're the one from my gym class. You feeling better?
Yeah. Patty wants to ask you for coffee to say thanks for earlier. You know, like a date.
God, you thought that just because I was nice to you that... Wow. I gotta go.
Maybe Bob was right. I could write a whole new story. I felt like Cinderella. And there is my Prince Charming, Brick Armstrong. Maybe my pageant narrative could be like a fairy tale where the vengeful maiden rejects the hero like he did to me. Brick.
Hey, babe. Patty.
So much for revenge.
You guys know each other?
That's Patty Bladell.
No way, Patty's huge.
Just because you're skinny now doesn't mean you can steal someone else's boyfriend. Got it?
So, do you have any advice on how we can combat these microaggressions?
So restating or rephrasing what they said could help them realize what they said. Like if they didn't realize what they said was actually wrong, it could help them realize, oh, maybe what I said was not good. So that can help them like introspect a little bit and be like, okay, yeah, what I said was wrong. But if that doesn't work and it's more intentional, asking for clarification or more information about their statement could put them in a difficult position, like kind of having to explain what they said, similar to what I did, like when I asked my friend what they meant by what queer people look like. It could put them in a like situation of where they have to talk about their bias out in the open. And yeah.
So what would you do if you're in a situation where it's a close friend or maybe even a partner?
If it's your partner or your close friend, you can also express your feelings and ask questions on why they said that. Tell them how it makes you feel, explain why they said it's not what they said is not appropriate, and it's like also really hurt you. And if they're your close friend and your partner, they hopefully care about your feelings. And like if you explain like why it hurt you, then it could help the relationship move forward in a way so that's even stronger. And yeah.
Hey, Rach, wait, do you want to go to a movie tonight?
Oh, you know what? I can't. I have to have dinner with that Melissa girl.
Can I come? I won't even talk. You just hear the noise from my video camera.
What is this? What's going on?
Oh, good. Can I tell it?
Well, do you want to hear what actually happened or Joey's lewd version?
Joey's?
Okay.
No, hey, come on. I had this friend from college, and I made the stupid mistake of telling Joey that one time she and I, kissed a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure that happened.
It did.
Sure.
Hey, it happened.
Yeah, it was senior year in college. It was after the Sigma Chi luau, and Melissa and I got very drunk, and we ended up kissing for several minutes.
Which means she had a couple spritzers and a quick peck on the cheek.
Why are you taking this away from me?
Yeah, why is this so hard for you to believe?
Okay, I didn't know that you were lesbian.
I'm not saying that I am a lesbian. I'm just saying that this happened.
Okay. It just seems pretty wild. And you're, so vanilla.
Vanilla? I'm not vanilla. I've done lots of crazy things. I mean, I got drunk and married in Vegas.
To Ross.
All right, you know what? If you don't want to believe me about this, why don't you just come with me to dinner tonight and she will tell you.
Okay, all right, yeah. Because I just can't picture it.
No, you should get inside my head.
So let's talk fetishization. Yay. So yeah.
What is fetishization?
So, some people can fall into this trap where they only see others as objects of their own sexual desires without really caring about them as actual people. And this happens a lot with stereotypes against fat people as well as black and brown folks. And that's what fetishization is.
Yeah, so instead of like seeing them as like humans with their own thoughts and feelings, they just see them as tools for their own pleasure, which can feel super gross for the person who's fetishized. The one who's doing the fetishizing is not at all interested in getting to know them or supporting their rights for things like accessibility and inclusivity.
So, to put it bluntly, they treat them like sex toys.
Yeah, exactly, which is super uncool. These people only care about fulfilling their own sexual needs without considering the feelings or humanity of the other person they're involved with. They're only in it for themselves, which again, not cool. I haven't experienced a lot of this, which is good, but I hope you both haven't either.
I've definitely experienced this.
No, I'm sorry.
That sucks. I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about it? You don't have to if you don't want to.
It's okay, I want to. So, I've personally dealt with someone who saw me sexually, but not personally. And this was during high school. I was dating someone who was white, and they frequently made comments about my race. And these comments included how I was pretty for a black girl, or how they always wanted mixed children. And they even mentioned their interest in role playing as a slave and a slave master during sex.
Oh my God.
That's awful.
Yeah, these comments were already shocking on their own. But then during the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement, they admitted to me that they didn't, in fact, support the movement. And they said that they were glad that I wasn't like those people. So, yeah, needless to say, I ended things between us very quickly.
That's so much. That's a lot to deal with. I'm so sorry you had to experience that.
Yeah, that must have been really hard for you.
Yeah, definitely experiencing something like that is hard to go through, and being with someone who saw me as nothing more than a sexual fulfillment really put things into perspective for me.
Thanks for sharing that, Alicia. Yeah, I feel like so many black and brown folks had to deal with like the stereotype that we're just sexual beings. And for Polly and I, while it isn't as drastic as your story, Alicia, as South Asians, we have faced situations where people would, see us as exotic and different just because of our background. They're drawn to what they see as our unique beauty and sometimes our culture as different and exotic. But they don't really care about who we are as individuals. And it's could be really frustrating because when we try to talk about stuff we're passionate about, like social justice and stuff like that, they completely shut us down.
Yeah, and that doesn't just happen in dating, it's all over society.
Right. Like many South Asian people who are raised as girls, especially, are, taught to dress conservatively and not date or have sex. So when someone is interested in us sexually, it's like they're breaking some kind of rule, which can be exciting for them for some reason, but it's not cool because it reduces us to just being objects of curiosity instead of seeing us for who we really are.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember when I was in high school, a porn video involving a Muslim woman started trending, and she was portrayed as a hijabi who was trying to maintain her innocence, but then she was convinced into having sex. And the response to the video with all the students at my school was very positive. Everyone thought that it was really hot that a woman who's supposed to be devoted to her religion was doing something so forbidden. And it totally contributes to the idea that being sexually involved with South Asian women is only alluring for the fact that, it's taboo.
Ooh, that's
that's definitely a huge yikes.
Yeah, it was super uncomfortable, and I felt like I was the only one who thought it was weird.
Yeah, super weird. So how do we combat these issues?
Well, I think it's important to understand the differences between preferences, biases, and fetishes. Biases and fetishes take desirability politics beyond dating, and we can work to break down these biases by looking at ourselves. why am I thinking this way? What is it about this person that I find unattractive? Is it their personality or their looks? Asking these questions can help us identify where our own biases are and address them in a productive way.
Yeah, and remember that like everyone has these biases, and it's okay to recognize that, and grow from it. Try to surround yourself with different people and different appearances, and get to know this.
Yeah, and this isn't to say that you should use people in order to gain experience, because that would be totally wrong. But get to know others when you are dating, so that this way you're not so quick to judge them based on how they look.
Yeah, so true. I'm really happy we were able to share this with each other.
Yeah, it's so nice to know that we're not alone in our experiences. I hope we all feel a little better after sharing our stories.
Right, I'm so glad that I can get that off my chest, and just to know that I'm not the only one who goes through this kind of thing.
Same. This topic is super tough, so take care of yourself in whatever way you need.
Yeah, we love some self-care.
We do. And for our audience as well, as we are at the end of this video, we hope that you're able to walk away and know that this is not an individual experience. Many people in Mogai communities, or just in general, experience desirability politics in a number of different ways.
Yeah, and regardless of what other people say, your feelings in those situations are always valid. It can be helpful to hear other people's experiences, to know that you're not alone and it's never your fault.
And organizations like Mazakane Center offer resources and community spaces to people who experience things like this. So our website and other resources are linked in the video's description below. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.